What is up guys, it's Solheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. Today we are once again looking at professions, and we are going to go through the professions in Wrath in a tier list format in regards to gold making and gold farming in Wrath of the Lich King. I will also talk briefly about each profession and why I put it into the tier that I put it in, but I won't go extensively into each profession, as that would turn this into an hour-long video. But if you're looking for more information on each profession, I have made specific profession gold-making guides for most professions like Inscription, Alchemy, Herbalism, Jewelcrafting, and more, so you can always search up those for even more information, and they are already available on my YouTube channel. Alternatively, you can also check out my Wrath Classic Gold Guide, where I also go through how to make gold with different professions, as well as tons of different gold farms, investments, and other methods of making gold in Wrath. Basically, it's an 87+ page document of gold making info that you can get access to, and right now you can also get it for 50% off by using the code Solheim. And after purchasing the guide, you will also receive all of the future updates for free. Once again, the link to that guide is down below. So let's dive in and pull up the tier list. Now, before we throw things into tiers, let me just clarify that when I categorize these professions, I think about their maximum gold making value, as well as how difficult or easy the professions are when it comes to gold making. So it's not just about how much gold you can make, but also how easy or how difficult it is to learn and or master. Let's start with Inscription, and let's just throw this straight into S tier. You've all probably heard it before, but Inscription has a massive gold making potential. First off, you have the new system, which is Glyphs, which is basically a talent-like system that can improve your abilities and enhance your character. Scribes can make hundreds of thousands of gold from glyphs alone, but that's not all. Scribes can also make heaps of gold by crafting Dark Moon cards. I'm sure by now you've all heard about the Dark Moon card greatness, which is best in slot for a lot of classes and specs in Phase 1, and for quite a long time in Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm sure you've all seen some hefty prices being thrown around as well regarding this item. Some people saying it's going to sell for as high as 100,000 gold, which I find absolutely ridiculous, but it's going to be a gold making machine for sure, and generate thousands of gold in profit to anyone who plays their cards right. Get it? Playing your cards right? Dark Moon cards? Haha, funny. Okay, I ruined the joke. Next up then, another popular profession, engineering. Engineering is not really popular for its gold making and gold farming properties, but it's one of the best professions for a lot of classes throughout the entire expansion, and therefore I think it's also important to talk about it in terms of gold making. In terms of crafting, you have your usual stuff. You can craft some BOE items, most of which won't really generate a lot of gold, but it's worth mentioning that gas clouds are still a thing in Wrath of the Lich King, and hunting for gas clouds is quite a decent way of farming for Eternal Fires. For example, I have listed each of the gas cloud farm locations in my gold guide, which is once again linked in the video description down below. Engineering is therefore put into the B tier, because while it isn't the best for gold making, it has a way of farming gold that can actually be quite effective, and it's also very easy. Next up, skinning. Skinning has huge potential in Wrath of the Lich King. Arctic furs you use pretty much throughout the expansion, and you can convert Borean leather into heavy Borean leather, and further use heavy Borean leather to purchase Arctic fur, so pretty much all type of leather is relevant throughout the entire expansion. On top of that, there's so many really good places to farm skinning, both in the open world and inside dungeons, and it's a profession that most classes can use for farming gold. Basically, it's effective and easy to use, which gives it a pretty high ranking, and I place it into the A tier for gold farming. Keeping up with gathering professions, I've also chosen to put mining into the A tier for this list. Mining is really effective and also very easy to farm gold with, and there is an argument to be made for throwing this all the way up to S tier for Phase 1, as the best professions for most classes is either engineering, blacksmithing, or jewelcrafting, all of which requires materials gathered from mining, so mining will be incredible in Phase 1. That being said though, for the expansion itself, like the entire expansion, I've chosen to put this profession into high A tier. Going back to crafting professions for a second, I have put alchemy into S tier because of its gold making potential and how easy it is when you break its things down. Use your masteries like Transmute Master or Elixir Master to your advantage and make money from that. There's hundreds of thousands of gold to be made from buying materials and crafting flasks and potions and selling those on high demanded days. Transmute Masters can also make a lot of passive gold from doing daily transmutes, so there's several different ways to make gold suitable for everyone with alchemy. Okay, I've put Jewelcrafting into A tier as well, and Jewelcrafting is a lot like alchemy, but you don't have the same constant demand like you do with flasks and potions, but gems are on constant demand as people obtain new gear, and there's a lot of potential gold to be made from buying gems during low seasons, then selling them during high seasons, like for example buy them towards the end of a patch and sell them when a new raid opens up and people obtain new gear. Just to make sure that there are not any new gems introduced with a new raid. You can also make some really passive gold through the daily Icy Prism craft, and you can hunt for rare recipes and charge a premium fee to cut specific, lucrative gems. Going back to gathering for a second, our last gathering profession is Herbalism, and this is the only gathering profession that I've put into S tier for gold farming. This is because both Inscription and Alchemy are also in S tier, and both of those professions rely heavily on materials gathered from Herbalism. On top of that, the amount of herbs and eternal lives used and required for Darkmoon card greatness in Phase 1 will be massive, and herbalists will have the time of their lives in Phase 1 of Wrath Classic. Enchanting then. I've put this into the A tier, and I was originally going to put this even lower, but because you can now put your enchants onto scrolls and sell them directly on the auction house, it actually has a lot of flipping potential in Wrath, and it's a very lucrative profession if used correctly. That being said, it does require extensive market research, as well as potential skill cancel scans against your competitors. Last but not least, armor crafting professions, aka leatherworking, tailoring, and blacksmithing. I've decided to lump all of those into the same tier, the C tier, so aka the lowest tier on this list, because they all pretty much do the same thing. They craft armor, both BoE epic armor and also BoE blue armor as well, usable for leveling alts, and they can also sell leg enchants, and blacksmiths can sell belt buckles, as well as other small items that can make some gold, but it's nowhere near the other professions in my opinion. I also want to say that I only ranked the primary professions in this video. Professions like cooking and fishing are also really good for gold farming and gold making, but those are professions that everyone can grab, and I also do recommend that you do grab them. That being said though, this tier list might help you decide which primary professions that you want to have on your character. So there it is, that is my professions tier list for gold farming and gold making in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Make sure you let me know how wrong I am in the comments down below, and let me know what your tier list looks like if it looks any different. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel for even more Wrath content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.